There's also a light back there, right?
Yeah, there's a light back there. Right above you.
Yep. Fine.
There we go. Okay, so we have our mysterious Lex Luthor in the back. In the meantime, hi guys. So I'm a little tired right now because I've been up since forever and I gotta wake up again early tomorrow. We got a rehearsal tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
What time does that start at?
10.
I thought so. So I gotta wake up early again for that. So in the meantime, let's talk about Batman vs Superman. I was originally gonna wait till next week to go see this, but like even like on Tuesday, I got messages from people asking like, "Hey, when are you gonna see Batman vs Superman?" It's like, I guess I'll do it Friday. Okay, let's just get this over with, because obviously he's been drawing a lot of heat and a lot of fan rage, and I kind of went on a rant about that in Miracles of Heaven, which now I gotta talk about the other side of that rant, which is the people who are insanely apologetic of this movie. It's a double-sided coin. Okay, Now before we get into that, I think we should just get general opinions out of the way. I thought it was meh.
It was even more subpar than Man of Steel for me.
Yeah, I put Man of Steel above this. Even though I liked Man of Steel, I will definitely acknowledge its flaws and definitely say this is below that. By the way, do you want to introduce yourself, man in the back?
I am Ben Tran. No, I am not Lex Luthor. No, I am not responsible for the death of Superman.
Good to know. It's kind of like that sign that says, "I do not have a dinosaur." That man definitely has a dinosaur. He definitely has something to do with the Superman.
Yeah. But, I thought the film was all right. I mean, okay, it's not a masterpiece. It wasn't great. No. It was kind of bland, and
I would agree.
Okay.
Like, I think
I'm not angry, but I'm kind of.
There are things that annoyed the shit out of me. Stuff I did. There's a lot of shit I didn't like. There's a few things I did like. I thought were fine, and other things I thought were just fine. Nothing here like. If anything really made me mad about this movie, it was Lex Luthor, and I gave Jesse Eisenberg every chance in the goddamn world to surprise me with this, and man, did it go so terribly wrong.
Yeah.
There is no way this is Lex Luthor in any sense of the fucking word. This is. I heard him being compared to he's trying to play the Joker, and I can definitely see it.
You were saying the same thing earlier, that he was a Switch Joker.
He was basically a Swish Joker, or a hipster Joker, whatever you want to call it. Watching that performance, it's like, I can hate people for a lot of things, but I've never wanted to actually assault somebody just because they were actually that bad. And I do.
You clearly haven't seen that many bad movies.
Huh? You know what? I'm willing to put up with a lot of things. I'm not willing to put up with someone that annoying.
See, you say that now. But, I don't know, like, I've seen a lot worse. God knows I've seen a lot worse. A lot more characters want to strangle. This one was like, this is not Lex Luthor. It's like my feelings about Dr. Doom and Fan Four Stick. Where it was like, that's not Dr. Doom. That's not in any way Dr. Doom. I don't know what decisions were made here to think that this is what the character is, but it's not.
That's what people wanted to see.
Or it's like, and this comes down to, again, we got to talk a little bit of fanboy rage, and a little bit of like the overly apologetic things. Like, okay, I'm fine if you like a movie. If you like it, fine. I honestly could not give a shit. Here's where I have a problem, though. I have a problem with it is when you say that, oh, if you didn't like this movie, then you fall into this majority, or like you're just this broad overgeneralization. Yeah. Or if you're going on, and the second part of that is I hate it when you say like, okay, this movie's good, I liked it, but you refuse to acknowledge the problems that it very clearly has. Now, granted, what problems you see in movies can be very subjective. But some are just so blatantly obvious. It's like, okay, even if you like the movie, fine, but acknowledge this problem exists. Don't just pretend it doesn't. That drives me crazy. On top of that, I've seen a lot of people very apologetic about this movie. It's like, oh, if you didn't like this movie, it's because you're an uber fanboy and you just hate all the fact that it doesn't follow the comics. Exactly. No, we don't like the movie because it's badly written. It has terrible foreshadowing. It doesn't know how to control any of its symbolism. There's
oh God, the opening shot.
Like, I mean, it's which one are we talking about?
Bat Christ.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Anyway, back
I
to
need alcohol now.
back to the general thoughts though. Just before we get into this nitty gritty, because I feel I have a lot to talk about here for as much as we can with what battery life we have left in this camera. But anywho, where was we going with that? Oh yeah, the symbolism is just obnoxious and all over the damn place, and it just feels like none of the characters have any room to breathe, and it just feels very dull and lifeless, more so than Man of Steel. Which you could argue had at least feel like has some personality going for it. Not a lot, but some, more than this.
Yeah.
Granted, help he had Michael Shannon shouting every line, so he had someone in there being enthusiastic. Because
Money will do that.
on the other side of the spectrum, I'm not saying this is a terrible movie, because God knows I've seen worse. And I'm not gonna say, oh, this movie's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing. Oh, this movie sucks so much. I'm not gonna be that guy, because I don't think it's that bad. Because I thought Ben Affleck was fine. He wasn't given enough room to do anything, but I thought he was fine. So was what's-her-name was Wonder Woman. And I thought she was fine. I don't know what she can do yet, because she's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
And the way she's written, the way she's done, there really is no justification for her to be here.
Exactly.
No, she was there for a glorified cameo and fight scene.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely agree with but for what it was, I think she did fine with what she was given, and I'm curious to see what she'll do in her own movie. And that kind of comes to the flaw with what WB is doing and what Marvel has done so far. And I know this comparison is inevitable, so we have to talk about the comparison between DC and Marvel at this point. Because at this point, we're going to have to see this almost exact same setup in Captain America 3 later this year. And I think more than likely, the whole thing being set up by Zemo, more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know he's in the movie. So anyway, but Marvel took their time and introduced each character one by one. So when you have them in the crossover, there's less of a need to have every character fully developed. Because their own movies already did that. That's why in Avengers, you don't need, although those characters had arcs, it wasn't entirely necessary for them to have it because we already know them. But in here, it becomes much more of a glaring problem because Wonder Woman is just there. She's there to set up Justice League, and that's really about it. And to fight Doomsday at the end. Spoiler alert, it's Doomsday. It's in the trailer.
And also the Wonder Woman movie, which is next.
Yes.
Well, after Suicide Squad.
But it's in Avengers, it felt justified. Here, it just feels like, okay, we're just going to throw in Wonder Woman because that's what fans want. Okay.
Here's some other Justice League members that...
And that can work if the writing is there to fully justify her existence in this story. But it didn't.
And on that topic... The whole subplot, the whole metahuman subplot, did not need to be in there.
No, you're right. And the Flash cameo in particular was oh fucking Jesus. Because for every part, it's okay, that actually has potential. This could have gone somewhere. They could have done something with this. It's followed by okay, this is just fucking setup, and this is everything I was afraid this movie would be. Especially because there's 50 dream sequences in the movie for starters, which it goes back to lazy writing. And then one of them is just such a clear setup for Justice League. The point where it's absurd, and it has nothing to do with anything that's going on. And we've seen in the trailer again, where it's Batman's wearing World War II getup, fighting what looks like Apocalypse. Because you see parademons, you see the Omega symbol, you see all that stuff. And I was okay, this isn't a dream sequence, because Batman doesn't know about these things yet. So how would he know he seems to dream these things? So what the fuck is this? But he wakes up from that dream to wake up to the Flash doing time travel shit, because we know that's what the Flash does.
Dream within a dream.
Dream within a dream, and then to warn Batman that he doesn't know about the Flash at this point either, because he doesn't find out till later. So this clearly isn't just a dream either, because otherwise that would make no sense. Either that is just really bad writing.
I think it's a bit of both at this point.
But anyway, so it gives some half-need, we were the future, blah, 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 blah thing, and then he wakes up again, so it's what did any of that accomplish other than just to set up the Justice League? It had nothing to do with Superman, had nothing to do with Luthor, didn't have anything to do with the framing storyline that was going on, or Lois Lane, didn't have anything to do with anything.
This movie's just so damn disjointed.
It is. I will completely agree on that.
The movie doesn't know what it wants to be.
Well, that's the problem is, it's trying to be everything. I don't think it's it doesn't know what it wants to be, but it wants to be everything. I think that's the problem. It wants to be a versus movie. It wants to be a Superman movie. It wants to be a Batman origin story. It wants to be a Justice League setup movie. But it's juggling too many balls and doesn't know which one to keep in the air.
Yeah.
So it tries to juggle everything and it all falls apart. Now, again, I'm not saying I hated this movie because there were some parts I liked it. I actually liked the intro, not the Batman origin stuff, because that comes into, we didn't need this. We've seen this a million times. We know the origin of Batman. Move on, please.
Yeah. We just laughed because Maggie was with Negan.
Spoiler alert, Walking Dead fans. To be fair, at this point, technically, she's not cheating on Glenn. So, I know. If that actually happens in the TV show, if they actually have that in TV show, I don't know what they will or not. But anywho,
who cares?
Yeah, barely. Well, thank you, Captain Cynic back there. Anywho, and then have all that. It's like, okay, I was annoyed by that in particular. It's like, we know the origin. We've been told in like every other goddamn Bat movie that's ever existed, except for The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises.
Thankfully, they just did it in the opening, and that was it.
Yeah,
they made it quick. But the thing that, like, I remember even seeing your reaction was, as I said, the Bat Christ.
Yeah, the Bat Christ.
Oh my
Where like they
God.
do that scene where he falls in the well and the Bat's coming and grab him, but I guess that was not symbolic enough for Zack Snyder, so they had him float along and start flying with the bats. And I was like, wow, okay.
Like, I remember you just looked at me and you're just like strapping.
Oh yeah, because I was like, all right, here we go. Strap, click.
When I saw that scene, I was turning to you and I was just saying, am I really seeing this? Really?
I mean, like, this movie is, like, for fans, like, hardcore fans of comics, I can see this is movie easy to tear apart. But is it fully justified? I don't think so. I mean, there are scenes that absolutely deserve to be torn apart, like, Jesse Eisenberg's performance deserves to be torn to shreds, because it's awful. And, like, it's totally ruins the character.
I smell a Razzie coming.
It really is Razzie-worthy. It's really bad. I like Jesse Eisenberg. But, like, this is, like, the worst performance I've ever seen him in, because I don't know what Zack Snyder told him. I don't know how it was written. Like, I can see Bryan Cranston taking these same lines and being the most sophisticated motherfucker in the room.
Yeah.
It's just because it was, like, it's not even so much the writing, it's just so much the performance. And the writing's not great either, but a better actor who's not trying to be manic can make these lines work. I can see that happening. And being much more true to Lex rather than Joker light. Basically.
Yeah. As someone put it felt like he was trying to be Jim Carrey when he was the Riddler.
Yeah.
I would say he was channeling much more Heath Ledger than he was Jim Carrey. Just based on the mannerisms, the hand moves, and the twitches, it was much more like Heath Ledger. I was much more Joker-esque than Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's playing Jim Carrey in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
But
fair enough.
For me, it's such a terrible fit for the character. I mean, Lex Luthor is defined by his insecurities, but also by his God complex. Mm-hmm. His need to be the be-all and end-all of everything. Mm-hmm. And in this, he just comes off as a sniffling little brat.
Yeah, more or less. I would agree with that. I mean, like, this is one of those things, like, I don't know what they were thinking. And Zack Snyder, who continuously seems to tell everyone that he understands these characters, really doesn't. And I find that kind of disturbing.
Yeah, like, what was the conversation we're having about Batman where he incorrectly cited his source?
Oh yeah, because you say something how he shot like people in the middle of the head. Is like in The Dark Knight Returns. Like, no, we didn't. Not anything I remember anyway. But like,
yeah, I talked with Ben too. He's like, no, that never happened.
No.
Yeah, so it's like it just seems
Batman
like
did use a gun. Yes, he never shot anyone with that gun.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like to kind of address that whole thing to Batman killing people. Yeah, there's some people in this thing that clearly die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there were like other points where it's like, to be fair, that kind of was the criminal's own damn fault.
Yeah, like, there was one where you're asking like whether or not that truck. There's part where like a criminal crashed in a truck. You're like, was that a bystander's truck? I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a criminal.
Like the way, but the thing that bothers me is the way that is shot. It makes it almost seem as if that's some random bystander who was just happened to be in the way, and that's terrible framing.
I just kind of took it. It's a LexCorp.
Yeah, because
doc.
Yeah.
So that just probably just somebody blew himself up.
But yeah, it's like when the guy crashed and was like, okay, yeah, that was his own doing.
And
the same thing with the guy with the grenade too. It's like, that was kind of your own damn fault, dude. You could have easily just gone away from the grenade, but you jumped into it. That's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
That being said, you can't deny that Batman does rack up probably the biggest body count.
No, Michael Keaton had a bigger one.
No, in this movie.
Batman Forever, he kills a lot of people.
I said in this movie he kills the most people out of all the characters. I mean.
Oh, that's even
Oh, in this movie.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh,
I thought you meant like of all the Batmans. I was like, Michael
No.
Keaton has a bigger body count, more than likely.
No, he does.
yeah. Because as far as I can tell, maybe. But either way, it's like some of it was definitely felt more unintentional.
Yeah. Sure,
like-
it doesn't change the fact that he is directly responsible for several dozen people dying in this film.
That seems
Yeah.
an exaggeration.
Yeah, he mostly.
At least like probably 24 people are dead.
No.
No!
I'm pretty sure.
You're over dramatizing. There was maybe 6.
Huh?
Because there's the one car he like rammed right through.
There was a guy in the truck that he blew up with the bat plane. There was a guy with a grenade. There was a flamethrower guy. Maybe 1 or 2 in a car.
Most of those cars were pretty packed though.
Yeah, that's true. Some of them, you know,
Like the ones they
There
showed
were
directly is
probably at
only
least
like
5 or
6.
6 people in each
Yeah.
of those cars.
Bullshit! You are making shit up at this point
No,
about
I'm
it.
not.
there were some, like with the one where he ran through the guy that had the machine gun. There were at least 5 in that car.
I counted like 2. There was a guy in the trunk and there was a driver car. I didn't see a guy in the back seats.
I saw a couple others, but
No.
even then,
Like,
it's
either
like-
way, like say he killed a few dozen people isn't a huge exaggeration.
But I think, probably around a dozen though, is a pot.
I would say under.
It's
Like
over
at
10.
most a dozen.
It's over
But
10
yeah.
at least.
It's not. I don't think it's not.
Either way, he killed people.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree. It's like it's not the number. It's the fact that he did actively kill some people.
Yeah, I will agree on that. But anywho, I want to talk about what I did like last week. There are scenes I did genuinely like. I did like the scene with Bruce Wayne in Metropolis when the Zod thing was going down. I actually thought that was for what it was going for. I thought that was effective.
Yeah.
It got the imagery across. It got the nice bystander effect, and it did what it kind of felt like. Okay, I could see Bruce Wayne doing this in this
Yeah.
scenario. So like I could see him like trying to do his best. Although idiot Jack was a dumbass for saying that fucking building.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
everybody get out.
But I'll stay here for no reason. It's like, okay, whatever. You know, again, that's kind of your own damn fault, dude. After a certain point, you had your chance. But I liked that scene. I thought the fight scenes were good.
They were okay for me.
Yeah. The only one that even did anything for me was when he was beating up the thugs near the end.
I like the thug scene. I like the title fight. Not as good as I was hoping, but I thought it was still fine.
I was just laughing because it seemed like every time Superman went in, he just got punched or beat back. It's like Wonder Woman, Superman, ow.
To be fair, that's every Superman Wonder Woman fight out there.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, when your title character just gets his ass handed to him in pretty much every
Did you
battle.
watch the Justice League cartoon?
To be fair, yeah, Superman did get thrown around like a...
Like that was how they did in every episode of the first season.
Yeah,
Doesn't forgive it, though.
yeah.
It
No,
really
but
doesn't
my
forgive
point
it.
is like it happens all the time in these things.
There's something. Well, wasn't the thing just because it happens doesn't mean that it should be happening?
No, my
again, or
point
doesn't-
is like that's why it doesn't bother me because again,
Yeah.
it's the Justice League symptom. It happens all the goddamn time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but still, when you emphasize it being of like such power,
To add on that, Kryptonite spear that one scene, and he did suck up a whole shit ton of radiation beforehand, which is the reason Batman was able to beat him in The Dark Knight Returns, which is why they're clearly homaging that in that particular scene.
true, but it's just what I'm trying to say is like there is a point that ties in the thematic element that just doesn't make sense. It's like this is a man of ultimate power who will destroy us all.
And now he's a tennis ball.
Are we talking about the Doomsday fight or the Batman fight at this point?
The Doomsday fight's or the Batman fight's more forgivable because as Ben was telling me, or we were having talk about, it's like he didn't want to actually necessarily fight Batman per se. It was more like he needed his help. He's just
I mean, things escalate and they spiral out of control from there, but
yeah.
the thing is that the general idea is still there.
Like, I thought the Doomsday fight was fine. I didn't think Superman got his ass kicked that much.
He literally got one. Okay, first Doomsday fight wasn't quite as bad, but then again, it was mostly just him flying up into space. The other part, though, was like when they're all there, literally every time except for one, I counted, every time he went in for a hit, save for the spear in the end.
Yeah.
He got whacked back. We tried to do some laser eyes. He gets lasered back. It's just
true.
like,
No,
That's a
Doomsday's a
Superman fight.
counterpuncher.
Like that's a Superman fight. It happens every time.
It's
Like
still-
I don't see that as a to me that seems like nitpicking to me.
That still seems lazy to me.
Because, like, even
I disagree.
'cause I'm just saying that even Batman got more done than Superman.
No, he ran like a pussy, and
Yeah.
as well he should.
Yeah. But he did more by weakening him. Well, that was in the end of the
No,
fight,
he
but
didn't.
still.
Like, no, he didn't.
But yeah, it's
Like, I think that's one of those things. I think it's being too harsh on something that's really not that big of a deal. Like the Batman body count. At the same time, it's like, yeah, I get people are upset about that. At the same time,
Yeah.
is it really the end of the world? No, it's not.
It's like, for this movie, For Batman fans, I understand you're gonna be pissed, especially. But as we both said, Michael Keaton still got far more kills.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I know that he killed a shit ton of people in those movies.
He did. Like, there was the guy in the bell tower. There was the guy there was a lot of people in the Penguins gang.
Don't forget when he machine gunned them down in the Batmobile too.
I was counting that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, like, I personally was fine with the fight scenes.
For me,
but
it's like they weren't bad; they were just boring and lazy to me.
I see, like, I actually like the final fight scene because at least, I mean, to me, I thought that was like, okay, finally, we're having some fun. At least to me. And I guess I didn't do anything for you. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I prefer the Superman and Zod fight was more entertaining than that.
Well, like, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying and for everything else in this movie that was kind of dull and lifeless, like, okay, finally, I feel like we finally interjected some energy into this, and that's what I was looking for.
For me, it was kind of like Farnsworth. At least I'm not alive to see this. Wait a minute. Boom, boom. No!
Like, I just feel like it's being a little overdramatic.
I was okay with the final fight scene. It just kind of looked like basically a Dragon Ball fight scene to me.
It's Superman.
Huh?
All
Sorry.
his fights are Dragon Ball fights.
No, but you don't normally see that many energy blasts.
Yes, you fucking do!
Not in the movies. Well, except for Man of Steel.
Well, because the Man of Steel was the one that had the budget to do it.
Yeah. But
Like,
it's
and like, look at any comic book Superman, look at any animated movie Superman, they're all like that.
actually, admittedly, I've not seen quite as.
Like, this all is, like, every one of Superman's villains are these big, buffed up, super-powered bastards. They all kind of, like, the exceptions are, like, maybe even Parasite gets that way, because he absorbs Superman's powers.
Wait, which one is that?
Parasite is one is absorbing people's abilities, so
Was he in the animated series at all?
he was.
Parasite?
He was the pink guy.
Yeah, he usually drains Superman's powers and then he gets buffed up.
Ah.
And then there's, like, Metallo, which usually just ends up Superman cowering at some point.
Yeah.
There's Lex in the superpowered suit, which looks like something that came out of Dragon Ball Z, and now when I think about it. There's the Doomsday fights, of course. I mean, they took some liberty with Doomsday's powers in this, which... Okay, I mean, I thought that was a kind of interesting way to incorporate the whole you can't kill him the same way twice thing that the character has. Like, okay.
Because he's constantly regenerating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I mean, you obviously to do the way the comic books did, you have to bring it back in the sequels, which
That
they're not
would
going to
take
do.
forever.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can see, okay, that's a workaround, I'll accept that. But it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like if this is just a movie that people are being really cynical on, and for a lot of it is justified, but I feel like also a lot of it isn't. And for me, like, I feel like that bothers me a lot, because I'm so tired of rampant cynicism. And granted, this movie's cynical as fuck, too. Like, I'm not gonna pretend it's not.
By the end of this movie, you really start to hate the human race.
I didn't. See, again, that comes back to the over-dramatization and the cynicism, because I don't see that.
Yeah, I didn't get too much of that either. But it's like, at the same time, it's just like, it was just one thing where, like, this movie was so cynical and dark, just most of the time, it's just like, oh.
Well, it's not fun. Like, here's the thing, like, when it comes to changes from the source material, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But it's like, here's my, like, this is what the problem is. I have no problem with people making change from the comic books or stuff like that. That's not the issue here. The issue is, does it work? Is it interesting? And is it entertaining? And while I was entertained by some parts of this movie, a lot of it is just kind of dull. And it's not interesting, especially like the Jesse Eisenberg thing could have worked if it was more interesting, but it's not. And that's what makes its glaring issues with it so much more obvious.
And that's pretty much the thing is, like, with this movie, just, I never felt like I had fun.
There were a couple moments where I thought I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
I couldn't even get that. It was just, it was such a slog. It was just, nothing felt inventive, nothing felt energetic. It's just...
Like the ending, I thought the Doomsday fight for me was a little more energetic to me, because again, like That one, admit, like, it was because of the fan service with Wonder Woman being there too, and she had some good fight moves in there. Because again, there's like, there was something about seeing that Trinity on, although as shoehorned as it was, there was something about seeing those three together on screen for the first time. That's like, okay, that's kind of hard not to at least get a little enjoyment out of, even if I wish it did have better execution. Because, well, you're not a diehard comic book fan.
Watching Wonder Woman fight in that scene, though, it looked like an MMO, just seeing her tank the boss level.
But again, that's the comics. That's so much the comics. It really is.
I don't think he means that necessarily.
Depends on what comic you read, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you can interpret all these characters however you want. There's 70 years of material to work with.
Well, like, the point is, like, fight scenes like this, especially in the comic book world, aren't anything new. And they aren't, it's like, I don't really see a reason really to bitch about it that much, because, like, this is what we've been seeing for years in the animated stuff, and now they're doing the live action stuff, and we're all bitching about it. I don't get it.
We can expect more.
I'm
hope for more.
But what else would there be? Like, I mean, like, explain to me a better fight scene. I mean, like, I'm not saying this one's perfect and it can't be changed, but I'm saying, like, with something with these kind of pieces of this power, how can you not have people being knocked down by huge punches and like dashing back and forth like that? But especially when those are the characters' power sets.
That's the thing.
That's like
here's the problem, though. That gets old after a while. There wasn't, like, even with Man of Steel, as I said, there felt like there were some moments kind of like even then I can't say I was that invested in it, because it's just, when it's people just punching and punching over and over again with no style or substance, it becomes a boring slog, and that was the issue here. It's like, and I will admit, though, there were a few moments where Wonder Woman did kind of get a few hits in, but it's like, few hits out of what? There was nothing interesting. It felt like, as we said, it was just a basic slobber knocker. Yeah. And that was the same problem I had with Man of Steel. The only difference is that Man of Steel, at least for some, not sure how they did it. There was a greater sense of oomph with it, at least. There was a greater sense of scale, although maybe because they made it a little bit more personal.
Yeah, that one I agree with.
And it's and that was my problem, is like, and I was thinking, like, with the animated shows or movies, they find ways to, like, add a bit of style or ingenuity to it. Whereas here, as I said, it's just, I've seen this done before. I've seen it done in, like, other Man of Steel, The Matrix, and other, like, just these other things, like, okay, so, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Sucker. No, not as bad as Sucker Punch, but basically.
Never saw it.
Oh, thank God.
You're better off.
That was the movie that, let me put it this way, the movie that was only slightly better than Green Lantern because it at least had a good soundtrack. But
to give credit, I actually did kind of like the soundtrack in this movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
it's like I never
agree on something.
I never really disliked a Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
No, neither did I.
But I mean, the point I'm trying to make is, like, it thinks it's bigger than it is. And
that I will agree with.
Yeah. And that is my main issue here. It's just like, there's really not much more I can say about it. It doesn't help. It's kind of like the depth in the story. It thinks it's deeper than it is. It thinks it's saying some profound message of, like, humanity and, character development and all that crap. But it's like...
Character development, yes. I don't know how much of a deeper movie we think this, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention to that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a whole Jesus metaphor and all that shit. Which,
they always cram one in.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
It's a Superman trope at this point.
Yeah, because as another thing I've been talking with Ben lately, it's like it's been so long since, like, most forums have seemed to have been getting them right lately.
No, yeah, I mean, the thing that kind of always bites Superman as a franchise in the ass is the fact that, I mean, he's been around for 70 years, but you could probably point out maybe 5-10 stories that are really memorable. And that's a terrible statistic out of 70 years worth of material.
That's not true. I can think of, like, 3 off the top of my head.
Yes, I said 5 to 10.
There's more than that. Again, there's the Alan Moore stuff. That's really good. There's the I forget the name of the storyline, but it's the one where it has the Justice League Unlimited series based on this. It's one of the most classic Superman stories of all time.
Are you talking about For the Man Who Has Everything?
Yes, that one.
Yes.
That one's excellent.
And then the other one by Alan Moore is Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
That's also really good.
Yep. And then what you have after that is probably All-Star Superman.
No, there's Birthright, which is a fantastic storyline.
It was a good origin. And then what? You got...
All-Star Superman.
Death of Superman. And I just mentioned All-Stars.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
said you did.
You said I did. My bad. I thought you said
Yeah, you both, because you both, it's like, he said All-Stars, and they said, no, you meant, then there's like, then there's All-Star.
I was like, I mean, there's
That's
more
so-
than that. Again, to say there isn't just strikes me as just a very single statement. And I don't, again, there's more than that. And I know there is. And I bet you ask especially a Superman fan, they'll tell you the same thing. To say there isn't, I feel like, is just cynicism. And I don't like that. But it's like, with any character this long, he has to be around for a reason. And there has to be because people are finding unique ways. Not right now, mind you, that had that whole depowered thing going on. And that went on probably for longer than it should have.
It just finished, I think.
Yeah, I think so. They just wrapped it up recently. But either way, it's like, I feel like, I don't know. It's just, to me, I feel like we're not the movie necessarily, just the character in general. Just not giving enough credit. Because this character has been around for 70 years. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And there's a reason people like this character. And people keep latching onto this character. And to say it hasn't had a good many good stories in 70 years, I feel like that is massively untrue. And it's just a cynical statement.
Yeah. I think what I meant to say was like lately.
Lately, yes, I will agree. But like,
yeah,
say
it's like-
ever? No.
No, because like because Ben's probably one of the bigger ones that, bigger Superman fans that I know as well. But it's just like, yeah, lately it's like I haven't heard of a really. I think because the last one I heard of was like All-Star Superman.
Oh, there's
That was
also
in
Superman Brainiac was really good too.
2008.
But there's also some of the Jeff Johns stuff is pretty good too. Brainiac in particular was a good storyline.
Oh, and what? There was the World of Krypton story. No, World of New Krypton.
Yeah, I heard that was kind of mixed though. Like it started out strong, then kind of petered out towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say I'm also enjoying the Injustice comics, although that's more or less kind of a group thing. Even though plot-wise he's mostly the focus, it's
It's still an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Kyle Rayner. Oh.
That poor bastard.
Forgot about that.
Oh, he suffered greatly in that comic.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really think of too much else to talk about. But
Yeah, it's like, as I said,
Isn't that kind of sad? I mean, this is supposed to be such a huge movie, and despite all
actually, we've been
the
talking for about a
fandom
half hour.
hype,
This is
but
about average, dude.
That's it. That's really all we can say. There's not much else to it, is there?
I thought we'd been talking longer.
We've been talking for like a half hour, dude. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought it was like an hour already.
No, we got back what 9:20.
No, I mean not that, but at the end of it all, I mean that's it.
I
This
think
is averaged.
In all fairness, I think the fact that we've also been spending the last few minutes talking about like comics and whatnot.
Well, you have to because it's
Yeah.
this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I think of movies where I have a lot less to talk about than this movie. And again, that comes back to, I just feel like, again, that strikes me as a cynical statement. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But
Yeah. Like I said, it's just, I'm trying to think what else is even worth mentioning though. Like the special effects were all right. Doomsday wasn't quite as terrible as some people are making it out to be.
Doomsday looked a little better this time than he does in some of his other comics.
he started out looking like a troll from Lord of the Rings.
I
but
was
he got
thinking
better.
the exact same thing. I was like,
The cave troll.
yeah.
Yeah.
What else? There's something else I felt like they ripped it off from another movie. I can't remember which one it was, but mostly that troll, the cave troll.
I mean, we've talked about everything worth mentioning. We've talked about the characters. We've talked about the story. We've talked about the fight scenes. We've talked about what went right, what went wrong. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
We covered everything. So I don't.
Yeah. What do you think? There is one thing I'm kind of curious about your guys' opinion, because one of the other controversies, the idea like how, even though this is mentioned, well, more on Superman's side,
What is it?
was the hypocrisy of Batman as well.
How so?
The idea, it's like he talks about like how Superman is like this unkept power that does all this damage, yet he pretty much does the exact same thing. Granted, on a smaller scale, a much smaller scale. But he,
The thing.
I would say that's kind of Batman, to be entirely honest.
The thing is that it kind of feels like basically a lot of it is Batman is projecting a little, just because of the fact that he does feel so powerless.
Honestly, I'm not sure Batman necessarily has a power complex, because he's made it perfectly clear in the past that if he wanted to, he has a plan for every one of the members of the Justice League, which has been used to beat them all before.
oh, I remember Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Tower of Babel. Was it Doom or Tower of Babel?
Tower of Babel is a comic book is based off of. Doom was the name of the anime movie.
Thank you. Well, okay, that's what it was. I couldn't remember what the actual name of it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tower of Babel.
Yeah, that was the name of the comic book series.
Yeah.
Well, the story.
Or the storyline, yeah.
Just thinking of Robot Chicken. Yeah. Robin Ray Shrubbery. Hey, how come there isn't anything on me? I want to know. What are you going to do to feed me? Ow! Pretty much that.
I didn't see that sketch, but no, like I would say that's kind of That's honestly just kind of Batman.
Yeah, but the fact that he, well, the problem is like it's in other instances it's all right, but it's the fact that he kills in this movie that unfortunately drives it a little bit more home this time.
That's still Batman. Like again, I'm not like. Yeah, the whole killing thing's kind of an issue, but at the same time, it's like, that's Batman. He's always been kind of like that.
Well, not the killing part.
Well, I
know you mean the anarchy.
The anarchy thing. Like, honestly, Batman just thinks like, he thinks, I'm not serious, I don't want to say he thinks he has the power to stop all else, but I think he sees himself as more grounded than any other people in the Justice League.
Yeah.
And that's why he thinks himself as like more the authority on this stuff than anyone else in particular.
He sees himself as a realist.
Yeah. So I think that's why he sees it that way, and that more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't see that much as a problem. I see it more as like, yeah, that's kind of Batman, to be entirely honest.
Yeah.
And I can see Batman reacting to that in a world where like people like Superman exist.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that didn't bother me.
Okay. It didn't bother me super much. It's just one of those things I was thinking about the views. Like, yeah, I can definitely see it there.
Yeah.
But it's like...
But it's not a flaw with the movie or character. There's a lot more else you could tackle.
Oh.
Like, it's like, to me, like, I mean, there were definitely obvious problems with the movie.
Yeah. A lot of the dialogue, for one.
Yeah, the dialogue, like, it's badly written. I'm not even going to argue that point.
It's like, there were so many times I winced. Just like...
Mostly in Jesse Eisenberg's lane for me.
Yeah, everyone had a line that just made, oh, God, like, was it Wonder Woman's?
Oh.
Like, I've killed things from other planets, and like, I was like, oh... I can't remember what the exact line was, but the way she was like,
You want to see
I've
bad
things from other worlds before.
There we go.
If you want, honestly, like, this would have been worse if I didn't watch Justice League War recently. Because you want to talk about bad Wonder Woman lines? Oh my god. There is a line where she goes, ice cream is amazing! I'm not kidding.
Oh, God,
I'm not kidding. So I watched that a couple weeks ago. So watching that and watching this, like, okay, it's better. There's also a scene where some guy confesses to cross-dressing as Wonder Woman. Because he says it makes him feel powerful. And she goes, it makes me feel powerful too. Actual dialogue from Justice League War. Not shitting you. So anything you have to say about this movie, I mean, that's not justifying its badness, but if you want worse, watch Justice League War.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
You showed me the one good scene from that movie.
Oh, God, that movie was terrible.
The bit where they're all trying to take down Superman.
That one was funny.
Yeah, because he said that was more an emphasized point. It's like, yeah, anyone tries to fight him, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And I think, as I said, that is the main issue why I had that issue with the punching bag thing. Because we know Superman is capable of so much more and just boing, 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 boing.
To be fair, it is Doomsday, though, too.
Yeah, but... yeah.
I think the main thing that kind of bugged me, other than the Eisenberg thing, was okay, the dream sequence where Batman is basically seeing Superman as, the terrible monster. I just keep thinking, it's like, given what he could do, there are so many other ways to portray Superman as so horrifying rather than just some would-be dictator. Especially when I think about the dream sequence in Man of Steel where he's being buried alive under skulls, And I just thought there was something so apocalyptic about that. And it just seems that Batman could imagine that in his worst nightmares about Superman.
If this is
just
the worst nightmare.
Sitting on a pile of skulls, having slaughtered everyone in the world,
I feel like that'd almost be too Mortal Kombat.
But it could happen.
I see what you're saying, and yeah, that's a valid point. I mean, I don't know how much more apocalyptic gets than Apocalypse, but like, I'm wondering if that was a dream or whatever the hell they're going with that.
I'm sure that if they really wanted to, they'll probably retcon it as someone was sending him visions or something.
Maybe, probably. I'm willing to bet.
I hope
something
they
like
don't
that.
do that. That would be terrible.
Honestly, I think it's what they're probably gonna do.
Was Martian Manhunter able to do that? I
He's
can't
a
remember.
telepath.
Well,
so
Martian Manhunter isn't in the
could.
Justice League. So.
No, he is.
He is?
Yeah.
I thought that.
No, they said he's going to be in that. I thought
they cut him out. I thought you said that he and Green Lantern were going to be in it. I'll have to look that up because I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
on
you
that.
never know.
Yeah, there'll be some.
Well, they could always change their mind too. So
Yeah.
who knows, right?
But
Yeah.
I remember you saying that. I remember the bit about Green Lantern though.
Yeah, Green Lantern I don't know is in the movie. But Cyborg is. Okay. We'll see how that goes. I can't think of. I think we've pretty much covered everything we're talking about. So
This movie is just a long, disjointed, boring slog with no depth, no personality. It's just God.
I liked it a little more.
Surprisingly, I still liked it more than Man of Steel.
I like Man of
Really?
Steel more.
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought actually this was a little more fun than Man of Steel.
Really? Because I had more fun with Man of Steel.
Eh,
I didn't have much fun
difference in
with it.
taste, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So I think it's all we really got. So
And I got a couple of the trailers, but I think they're all stuff we've talked about.
yeah, I'm not worried
The
about
only
that.
one, because the first three we got, it was TMNT 2 Out of the Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they've learned from the last movie.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
I hope.
I
so
feel like
much.
just based on the trailers I've seen, I feel like they're embracing the silliness more than the last one. Except for the last one of the problems was it took itself a little too seriously. This one's like, yeah, ninjas. We're not even gonna pretend anymore. They're fucking ninjas. You want to see that fucking toy from the toy movie? Sure. It fires sewer lids and everything. Sure, fuck it. Why not? Giant robot hands? Fuck it. Why not? Crane, you want that? Sure, that's in there too.
Also, we have Bebop and Rocksteady now.
Exactly. You have a
Yeah.
giant fucking rhino. It looks better, honestly, better than the rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And Rocksteady even has the dumb glasses and the mohawk. So it's like, you can't have characters like that and take yourself all that seriously. So if it does, I will be remarkably surprised.
Arguably, never mind. I was gonna say, technically, didn't Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter do that?
Have a pig wearing shades with a big
Well, no,
mohawk.
but it had something really stupid.
It's
Yeah,
like, man, I missed some scenes in that movie.
Oh, that would have made it so much better from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's everything we can talk about then,
Yeah,
right?
so, yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope that wasn't too depressing. Like, I just feel like we're all so burnt out from this. Or it may just have been a fucking long week.
And we get to do rehearsals tomorrow. Yay!
I'll have to be
Hang
there.
in there, guys.
I'll have to be there in the morning, too, because I got working late afternoon.
It's gonna be okay.
We're fucking tired. But this is the second movie I've seen today, and I've been up since, like, 8.
Yeah.
8:45, so...
It's funny when the Jennifer Gardner movie was a little bit more interesting than this.
It kind of was.
It's like, wow.
Even I'll concede to that.
Yeah. Breaking news flash! Michael the Comic Nerds find Jesus movie more interesting than Jesus-esque parable.
Oh, to be fair, after Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, there's been a Jesus movie I've found interesting than anything I've ever seen.
Oh, that was a trip.
But it was interesting. More like, wow, I have so many questions. I hope Kirk Cameron can answer everything for me from now on. I can't wait to Kirk Cameron saving Batman. See, the Joker's the Antichrist, and Harley Quinn represents Mary Magdalene.
Actually, I gotta see that being true. Well,
Wait a few years and I'm sure it'll show up in a comic.
oh, it would.
I would crash my car at a race to the shop to pick that up.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron takes on the DC Universe.
Good night, everyone.